Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be showing you how you can get a guaranteed chance of dropping an Ender Dragon pet. Now obviously everything is going to be based on probability, and I can't 100% promise that you will definitely get an Ender Dragon, but I can at least promise that in theory you will drop an epic or legendary Ender Dragon. In terms of how we get a dragon to spawn in the first place, if you come to the middle of the dragon's nest, you'll see here these altars. Placing summoning eyes on those altars, if all 8 are placed, will summon a dragon, and that will allow us to fight them and give us the chance of getting the Ender Dragon pet. Now everybody knows that these zealots are creatures, Enderman-like creatures that appear in the dragon's nest. But as it goes, a special zealot, which is the mob that gives you a summoning eye, actually has a 100% chance of dropping one. It's about how you get that special zealot in the first place that matters. Now, if I were to come up to any random zealot and kill it, that would give me a 1 in 420 chance of summoning a special zealot. However, there are a number of ways you can increase this chance. First things first, if you two-shot the zealot, that will actually increase your chances to 1 out of 378. There's also something called dry streaks, which is where if you haven't dropped a special zealot after killing a certain number of them, this will increase your chance again. The first thing is that after killing 420, the chance will increase to 1 in 210. The second number is if you kill 630 without dropping one, it will increase to 140. And finally, after 840 kills, if you still haven't dropped a special zealot, that will give you a 1 out of 105 chance of getting it. There's also a couple of additional ways to increase this pet. If we go into my pets menu, you'll see that the mythic Enderman there increases your chance to find a special zealot by 25%, bringing your odds down to about 1 out of 365. And then if we come down under this, we'll find the Dragon Ritualist, who has this perk right here, Zealot, which increases your chance to find a special zealot by 10%. Finally, there's Enderman Slayer, which at level 9 increases your chance of getting summoning eyes by 15%. And if we have all of these buffs together, that will give us a 1 out of 212% chance without dry, and a 1 out of 70% chance of getting a special zealot with dry. Now that we have our summoning eyes placed and our dragons spawned, we can start getting into exactly how the drops are determined. Now, dragon drops are based on a system called weight, which I'm sure you will have heard about before, but bear with me because they have made some recent updates to it. The first part of weight, which most people know, is that for every summoning eye placed, you will gain 100 weight. Secondly, depending on your position to the dragon, you will also gain a set amount of weight based on this table here. But finally, the new one, which not all that many people know about, is that depending on the percentage of damage you do compared to first place, you will also gain a certain amount of weight between 0 and 100. If you're first place, you will always gain this extra 100 weight on top of the spreadsheet's boost to weight. But if you're second place and you only do 50% the damage as first place, then you will only gain 50 weight. Each item has its own set probability of dropping, which is increased by Magic Find, and dragons are increased by both Magic Find and Pet Luck. And while that's normally a good thing for superior dragons specifically, they can drop an item known as a Dragon Horn. And a Dragon Horn rolls before an Ender Dragon with a default chance of 30%. Meaning that if you've got more than 234 Magic Find, and you can test this on the spreadsheet, you will always get a Dragon Horn drop, which means you cannot get an Ender Dragon or any other drop on that dragon. Once it's rolled through, you will either be given a unique item, of which you can only drop 1, or however much remaining weight, or quality as it's sometimes called, will be converted into fragments, ender pearls, and enchanted ender pearls, depending on which unique item you dropped. It's important to note that if you are the person with the second weight, the first player's rolls will drop first, which is why first place, especially if you're placing 4, is more likely to drop a chest plate than the second place. but with an Ender Dragon pet specifically, the change is very, very marginal, as for almost all dragons, it is the second or third drop. Now, in terms of the exact probability of dropping all of these items, obviously this will be dependent on your weight, on your magic find, on your pet luck, but to know that, that is where the spreadsheet will come in. Warning once again, just like last video, this is going to contain a fair bit of math, so if you're scared of the math, then feel free to run away. The spreadsheet will be linked down in the description. And also, if anybody is interested as to how this and the booster cookie spreadsheet works, drop something in the comments. If we see enough people asking for us to make a video on this, then either Dodo or I will make a video explaining exactly how everything works, how we got the API, where our calculations come from, but let's hop right into it. Now, for my example calculations here, you will be able to test whatever values you want in the spreadsheet, but I wanted to make sure that we would be going for about your average person who's doing Dragon's Magic Find. So because of that, I'm going to be using a Black Cat and a Daedalus Axe, which puts us at 90 pet luck and 167 magic find with my superior armor. We do also have my cakes eaten. If you don't know about the cakes, then any player from new to the end will be able to come onto my island, /visit HonestlyFire, right click on these cakes, and they will give you various buffs, including pet luck and magic find. Now, once again, here we are at the spreadsheet. I know this is quite a lot of information on screen at the moment, but first things first, I'll bring your attention up to this box here. Now, here we have the live price of summoning eyes, which lets you put in a value here of how much money you want to put into dragons, and that will tell you how many eyes you can get here in the grey, and then lower down how many dragons you'll be able to place for. In terms of the other stats you can put in, how many eyes you want to place per dragon, your pet luck and magic find are both placed in, although there is also this dragon bestiary, which is really important to pay attention to. As we mentioned before, if your magic find is too high, you will guarantee a dragon horn drop from a superior dragon, and this dragon bestiary can give you literally hundreds of magic find, so please make sure you fill this in. You also have your placement. Obviously, this is only going to be estimated rather, but for the purpose of this, we will go with first, which as a result puts us at 100%. Fundamentally, this is just a calculator, so everything we're going off is going to be an estimate. We also have this Dragon Piper ability, which you can buy, we saw, from the same shop that you get the Zealot buff from. If you've got this, great, you can enable it. If not, then no worries, hit disable on that, and that will adjust in terms of how many dragons you get. Scrolling down to this nest bit, we have the statistics. First, you'll see your weight, and as I said before, the number of dragons that you'll be able to do. And here we have the really interesting stuff. The expected pet drop. This is taking into account both legendary and epic Ender Dragon pets, so you do have to be a little bit careful, and then also the leftover eyes if you've got them. But here we have the revenue and the profit, and this is where the gambling side of dragons comes into play. You'll see here, having spent 315 mil, if we don't drop a dragon pet, then we'll lose 254 mil. But based on probability alone, with my current stats, 30 pet luck, 167 magic find, only going off Dragon Bestiary 1 just to make it easier. If you put in 315 mil, probability states that you are guaranteed a dragon pet every single time you do that, which will lead to us profiting 263 mil. Again, in theory. Another thing you have to keep in mind is that this is going to be based off both the Ender Dragon pet and the legendary Ender Dragon pet hair. We've kind of combined them into one. You'll see that even if you do drop an epic pet, which probability says you should drop an epic if not legendary, then that will more than make up for the chance of the Ender Dragon, because we're only taking the 85%-ish chance, or 78% rather there, as well as the chance of dropping the legendary Ender Dragon. We've combined the two. This is going to be your average amount of drops that you've earned, and if we scroll down here, we'll have a more accurate depiction of exactly what we're expected to get. the number of dragons that were estimated. And again, as I said, if you change your superior buff here, then that superior number will go down. We'll see 6.16%. Turn that on again, goes up to 6.78. Not a crazy change, but that extra 10% might be the one that gets you an extra superior dragon chestplate. And then you'll see here, Horn, Claw, Pet. We've got them in weight order from top to bottom. And then obviously some aren't droppable. They're dragon specific. So a dragon scale you can only get from a young dragon. Additionally, with this travel scroll to the dragon's nest, it's got it as 0.08% chance at the moment, and that is the remaining chance after everything else. There's currently a bug where you cannot get fragged from an unstable dragon, as you will always end up with the scroll if you don't roll anything else. Here at the bottom as well, you'll see this 357 fragments, 411 fragments, 22 fragments. That's based on an estimate depending on your weight. So were I to change myself from, say, 4 eyes to 8 eyes, which increases our weight here by 400, then the fragment specifically will increase again. There we go. You can see that increase right there. Because the amount of frags that you get is based on your weight minus the weight of any unique items you drop, translated into fragments and ender pearls. We do also have this little thing at the bottom here for crystal fragments. This is how many you expect yourself to get per dragon. So this is kind of a separate thing. The only thing it really changes is profit, but its default set to 0. If I think I'll be able to get 4 crystal fragments per dragon, then again you'll see here this profit will very, very slightly increase, and again that is going to be based on bazaar prices. Now you'll also notice that when we changed the eyes there, it drastically reduced our chances of getting a dragon, and that's purely because of the total times we can place having gone down from 154 back down to 77. Again, download this spreadsheet. It's in the description below. You're welcome to mess about, see how many eyes you should place, what your pet luck is, what your magic find is. Again, just to show you that it is working, if I were to set my magic find to something like 325, but anything above that, 256 will do it. We come down and we look in this superior column, you will see that you are guaranteed to get a dragon horn for every superior dragon that you have, so do be careful. But make sure to go download it, play about with it, have fun, and as always, thank you everybody so much for coming out here. Hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions about Hypixel Skyblock, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and I'm sure I will see you again in another stream. Bye guys!